Welcome to the Tribe Digital Marketing Series. Today, I am joined by Cassidy Lujan, who is the Revenue Operations Lead with LeadMD. Cassidy, thank you for joining.
You're welcome. Happy to be here.
Awesome. So we always like to get to know the folks on the other end a little bit first and ask what you love about marketing. I know you have a rich history in marketing ops, so talk to us about that a little bit.
Yeah, I think I love marketing because it's always changing, right? Like the clients always have different needs. The environment that we're working in, for example, what's happening right now is always different. So it just leads to a lot of creativity. Being in an operations role focused on keeping the systems working and functioning for my team is definitely fun. So
Awesome.
marketing for me is a little bit different from someone who goes in and is doing campaigns and actual marketing. I'm more on the operation side of things, but
Yep.
I would argue that it's equally as important and as fun as the getting in and helping out the clients.
Yeah, for sure. And I've heard from a lot of folks, customers, prospects, whatnot, that ops is getting a heavy burden on them right now as people and organizations are shifting heavily away from events that were canceled and some of the typical motions that they go through. The heavy push to digital is putting a heavy burden on ops. You seeing some of that as well?
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a burden so much as just a fun challenge.
There you go. That's a positive way to look at it.
Yeah, it's definitely changed. Like a lot of my focus right now, like when people ask how this is affecting my marketing operations role and really my sales operations role, because I kind of teeter
Yep.
both of those. For me, I just tell them it's about steering the ship right now. Like everybody else is trying to pivot what they're doing and make sure that we're aligned with, the climate of what's happening around the world. And for me, it's just making sure that the systems that we have in place are clean and available to do and support the things that we need to do as a company. So it's been a little bit different. It's really for me right now about data cleanliness. We've done some really great projects realigning our target. So we do account-based marketing, as you know, but the listeners, we do account-based marketing, and it's been really fun to kind of take what we just did at the beginning of the year for our 2020 targets and say, okay, now with what's going on, how do we pivot and make sure that we're targeting based on what's happening in the world? And so that's been a really exciting and a heavy lift, but a lot of fun to get in the hands of the people that need that data.
Yeah. So it sounds like that's a good recommendation baked in there just around retargeting, right? As you look at the climate change nationally and globally, are the people that you're trying to sell to and trying to market to, are those the same people you should be selling and marketing to right now? And then if you go through that exercise of refocusing your efforts as an organization, which is probably a good thing to do, what is the downstream impact of that? Like you said, systems, data, and stuff like that. What are some of the key exercises that folks should be thinking about?
Really just looked at industry. Like that's been something important for us, is looking at how has this industry been affected with everything going on, and does it make sense to target them. And then I think on top of that, if it does make sense to target them, there's some sensitivity of content that you just have to be aware of. And so working with my teams to understand, like, do we want to put this content out? How can we make it? And how can we make the copy a little bit more relevant to what's happening in the world? That doesn't all fall in like marketing operation when it comes to time to implement those things.
Yeah.
It's just been like a lot of fun to kind of be parts of those conversations that we're having.
Got it. Well, you mentioned data cleanliness a couple of times, and that's definitely not a COVID crisis issue. It's an all the time issue. What are some of the things that you really focus on when it comes to data cleanliness?
For us, it's really been about contacts right now. Like people are switching jobs, leaving jobs, trying to keep our database up to date with that information is a challenge. It's always a challenge, but it's especially a challenge right now. And I think just having tools that are like real time tools. So we have, tools like LinkedIn Navigator has now their new tool, and being able to see when people switch jobs in real time. Like if someone, kind of have to think about it like if you're that person, right? Like if I had a shift in job, LinkedIn's like the first place I go to update that.
Let the world know.
Yeah, exactly. So having tools in place within our company that are real time has been invaluable right now.
Yeah, no, being on the other side of that, I totally agree with you. It's crazy how fast data changes and how much of it pumps the brake on your workflow really easily. If you go in, you're working on something and you realize, oh shoot, that person's 3 jobs removed. Well, now what
Right.
do I do? Now I got to get rid of them, update them. You know what I mean? So yeah, I totally get it.
Yeah, all things that market operations can help with.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you taking a few minutes to join. This has been super helpful.
Yeah, thanks so much. And I love watching these, so keep them going.
Absolutely. Thanks.